Hey guys, so if you're like me, you may not understand the difference between nascent and ascendant gleam and what that means for like your team building and how that interacts with lunar damage. So,
Come on, let's hit the town.
Yehoda,
I'll show
please.
you someplace.
Mostly I'm talking about the wild hunt enemies because we have them in the abyss right now. We will probably have them in more endgame content. Um, and they're really awful to fight if you're not using Nod Krai characters. And for the longest time, I thought that you needed lunar damage to make them easier to fight. And yeah, you don't. You just need Ascendant Gleam, which is the team mechanic. If you go into like your party and you have two characters from Nod Krai, so right now it's Aino and Jahoda, um, we have Ascendant Gleam. This does not mean that we'll be doing lunar damage because we don't have a 5-star in the team, but it does have an effect. So normally, without a Nod Krai character, um, when you have to fight the Wild Hunt, you have to take the HP bar all the way down, and then you'll have a window of time where it gets this little gray HP bar, and you have to do as much damage as you can to bring that gray HP bar all the way up in that window of time before they get a new HP bar. You have to take that all the way down. You get the gray HP bar back. On and on it goes. If you guys have fought these guys, you know what I'm talking about. Um, Very annoying. It takes ages to do. It's just a pain. If you're trying to fight them in the abyss right now and you're not using Nod Krai characters and you're not using somebody who does um, a huge amount of damage like Mawika or Skirk, you're gonna really be struggling. Um,
Ball ran away.
so all that to say, like normally what happens if you use a Nod Krai character, or you have a Nod Krai core, and the gray bar just starts filling right away. So there's no like cycle of having to wait for the HP to go all the way down before you get to actually do damage to the monster. You just get it right away, you kill him like a regular enemy, it's so much easier. So I thought that you needed a Nod Krai 5-star to be doing lunar damage for that to happen, which I was obviously upset about for reasons that we all know. Um, Not everybody has a 5-star, not everybody pulled. Um, or maybe you only have one 5-star team that can do lunar damage, and these enemies are on both sides of the abyss, or they're on multiple floors of Stygian Onslaught. So, yeah, what do you do in that case? Well, my argument here is that you need to be building Aino and Jahoda as a 4-star core to deal with these guys. Because if Natlan is any indication, we will be having Wild Hunt enemies popping up for a long time after this. We had Night Soul enemies popping up for ages and ages and ages after Natlan had ended, and we have them again in the Abyss. So, case in point, you will run into this, and you may not be equipped. So, 4-star cores are always useful to have. 4-star cores are like Singsho Fischl Sucrose for Electrocharge, or Bennett and Xiangling are almost always paired together. Um, Bennett, Xiangling, Singsho are almost always paired together. And then you slot flex characters into the rest of the team. So with Aino and Jahoda, you can build them as a core, and then you can give them other teammates. Like I have here, I have Xiangling and I have Fischl, which this creates an overvape comp with overload and vaporize. Aino won't do damage on her own no matter how high you level her, so you can leave her at 70. You don't even really have to level her talents. Just stick a Favonius Greatsword on her, level her to 70. She's very useful. She's very good at applying Hydro in an Ascendant Gleam team. Jahoda, you want to level as high as you can. If you level her to 90, that's a 40% damage increase to her swirl damage. You could leave her at 80 if you just want to use her for healing. Her damage is quite good. So what Aino lacks in damage, Jahoda kind of makes up. Her heal is very strong, and she's fun to play. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about with the HP bar. Go Oh, perfect, we have one of the big guys. That's easier to show you guys with.
Look, a rainbow. You're not close.
Oh. If I can not get Jahoda killed. It doesn't matter, she just has to be here.
I never leave. Flash attack. Nice and spicy. Midnight fantastic.
But yeah, you guys can see the HP bar is immediately going to gray. I don't have to wait for it to go all the way down before I get a window of time to deal actual damage to their HP bar. It just is. Oh, Jahoda died. RIP.
Oz, reveal thyself.
It's fine.
Shadow Ray.
Chun-Ling and Fish will do enough damage for everybody in the comp. Yeah, so this means that if you do run into him, like with this Abyss, you don't necessarily need to have a Nod Krai character. It looks like you do because we have two of those big guys on the first half. But you don't need Nod Krai characters for the first chamber with all of the Praetorium golems. You don't need a Nod Krai character for the Moon Gecko. You just need a really strong Geo DPS or you can use Overload and a party-wide healer. I actually used Barbara. This was a weird situation in which I used Columbina, Barbara, Zibai, and Zhongli, and that was stronger than my usual Zibai comp because of Barbara's party-wide heal. So you technically don't need a Nod Krai character in this Abyss. You could just be using Aino and Jahoda as a core with two other very strong teammates, and you could do it. So I hope that's helpful. We will probably be getting a lot more of these Wild Hunt enemies upcoming. Probably even all the way into this Snezhnaya release. So this just makes it easier for free to play because, you know, we got Aino for free, we got Jahoda for free, and in general, they're accessible 4 stars. You could use Itlua and Aino, but like, just they don't have as much synergy with other teams. So Aino and Jahoda, I would build them and use them as a core whenever you run into these Wild Hunt enemies in Abyss or in Stygian. Yeah. Good luck. Have fun. Bye.